Hello and welcome to the UC San Diego's webinar for international freshman students. This webinar is intended for incoming international freshman students in F1 or J1 status. The International Students and Programs Office would like to extend a warm welcome to you. We are here to assist you throughout your stay in the United States, as well as provide services that enhance the quality of your experience in the United States and contribute to your academic success at UC San Diego. During this webinar, we are here to assist you. My name is Trisha Chan Schuler, and hopefully this webinar will explain a lot of the important information that you should know before arriving at UCSD. My colleagues, Jennifer Atkins from Admissions, Ricky Paniagua, and Isabel Martorell from the International Students and Programs Office will be helping out and respond to any questions that you might have during the webinar. We will cover a lot of information, so we please ask that you watch the entire webinar before submitting questions. Also, we will be posting this webinar to our international student website within the next week, and in addition, you will be receiving a recording of this webinar via email. So please do not feel rushed to write down all the links and information included in the presentation slides. Today we're going to talk about some important topics that relate to your arrival in San Diego and your studies at UCSD. We will cover the following topics. We'll talk about the International Students and Programs Office. We call ourselves ISPO. We'll take a look at the Form I-20, your F1 visa and passport information. We'll go over the International Students and Programs website. You'll learn about campus resources for freshmen, including information about the entry-level writing requirement. You'll learn about what you need to know about arrival at UCSD, as well as information about early move-in for on-campus housing. And we'll talk a little bit about arriving in the U.S. and cross-cultural success. And of course, we'll allow you time to submit questions via the GoToWebinar panel. So you'll see on your GoToWebinar panel here, if you'd like to submit a question, you may send it through the question box. Please include your full name and PID so that we can identify you. These questions will only be viewed by our staff. However, if we receive a lot of the same questions, we'll send a general response to the whole audience. Jennifer, Ricky, and Isabel will answer questions as they come in. We'll also stay online for about 10 minutes after the webinar completion to answer additional questions. We hope that we can answer all of your questions, but keep in mind that there are many of you and only a few of us answering the questions. Throughout the webinar, I may ask you a few poll questions. When I ask a poll question, you will see the poll box pop up with a choice of answers. Please then select your appropriate answer. Now I'd like to know who's here. So please enter your home country in the question box. And I'll see, where are you from? So please enter your country. I see a lot of China, Venezuela, some more China, India, Japan, Beijing, again from China, Mongolia, Korea. Great, so we have students from all over the world. It's great to see all of you here on this webinar. For this upcoming fall 2014 quarter, we are expecting over 2,000 new international students and over 800 international freshman students. You are already a record-breaking class. The International Students and Programs Office is here to assist you from the very start. We provide pre-arrival information and orientation for new international students, as well as advising services for you and your family. You can come visit us if you have questions regarding your international student visa and status. And of course, in addition, we offer fun, cross-cultural programs and activities for all students at UCSD with an international focus. The International Students and Programs Office website is full of important information. Please mark it as one of your favorites and bookmark it on your computer. You'll be referring to this website throughout your studies at UCSD. We've posted many documents that are related to your stay here. You can access request forms, information guides, tutorials on campus and off campus, and much more. We would suggest that you get familiar with our website and take some time to explore all the links on our homepage. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the sites that we created specifically for our newly admitted students. So this is our iStudents homepage. Many of you have probably already seen this page. If you want to click on newly admitted students, this will take you to a checklist of things that you should do before you arrive on campus. So hopefully you're already familiar with this site. And take note here, those webinars tab, this is where we will upload a recording of this webinar. This freshman tab here, you'll be able to see some useful information specific to you. You'll see orientation information here, and check out the other information included on our website. Okay, so by now, many of you have already received your I-20. This form is a certificate of eligibility to apply for the F1 student visa. If you are a new student in the U.S., take this form along with the required documents listed on the U.S. Embassy website to apply for the F1 visa. If you are transferring from another U.S. institution, such as a U.S. high school, to UCSD, you will need to request that your SEVIS record be transferred from your old institution to UCSD along with making your request through the iPortal. Your immigration documents are very important, so please make sure that you keep them safe. Now I'd like to take a poll to see how many of you have already received your I-20. Okay, so you should be able to see this poll. Please go ahead and answer the question. Have you received your SEVIS I-20 from UCSD? And good, it looks like 94% of you have already received your I-20. That's great. If you have not yet received your I-20 and have not submitted your request via the iPortal, you will need to do this as soon as possible. The iPortal is an online system to apply for the I-20. You can access the iPortal via the link here on this slide. Of course, if you have any questions regarding your I-20 or visa, email ifreshman@ucsd.edu. This is what the Form I-20 looks like. When you receive the I-20, please review it to make sure the details are correct, such as the spelling of your name, birth date, country of birth, and citizenship. If there are any issues, please contact our office at the email address in the previous slide. Be sure to arrive at UCSD by the start date on your I-20. For most freshman students, we have issued the document with a September 22nd program start date. This is the first day of the required international student orientation for freshman students. Remember that you are eligible to enter the U.S. only up to 30 days before the program start date on your I-20 or DS 2019. If you have a start date on your document of September 22nd, you may enter the U.S. as early as August 24th in F1 status. Okay, so now let's see how many of you have already applied for and received your F1 visa. So go ahead and answer this question. Have you already applied for and received your F1 visa? Okay, good. So again, looks like about 75% of you have already received your F1 visa. That's good to know. So now that most of you have your F1 visa in your passport and your UCSD Gate I-20, your next step to becoming part of the UCSD community is arriving at the port of entry into the United States. Most of you will be arriving by plane. So let's talk about what you should expect at the airport. Some of you may be arriving with family or traveling by yourself or with friends. So let's take another poll question. Will you be traveling alone, with family, or friends, or others? So who will you be traveling with? Okay, and it looks like a pretty even split. About 30% of you will be traveling alone. That's very brave of you. 40% of you will be traveling with family, and 20% with friends, and 6% with other. Great, thank you very much. So when you first arrive at your first airport in the United States, you will have to go through U.S. Customs. Be sure to carry your immigration documents in your carry-on bag. Do not pack them in your luggage. You will be asked to show the immigration officer your passport, visa, and I-20. Remember, a visa allows a foreign citizen coming from abroad to travel to the United States port of entry and request permission to enter the U.S. Applicants should be aware that a visa does not guarantee entry into the U.S. The Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Customs and Border Protection have authority to permit or deny admission to the United States. If you are allowed to enter the U.S., the Customs and Border official will determine the length of your visit on the electronic form I-94, which is often referred to as your arrival departure record. So when you arrive at Customs, your passport will be scanned and you will receive an entry stamp in your passport, which will include your entry date and status of entry, as well as the duration of your status in the U.S. Your passport will also be scanned in order to create what is called an electronic I-94 record. It is very important. You must access this electronic record using the link above after you have entered the U.S. Please print a copy for your own records. We also recommend that you save a PDF or image of the I-94 for your own records. You will be asked to bring this copy with you to your International Student Orientation on September 22nd so that we can review your immigration documents and make sure your entry was processed correctly. Email reminders will be sent to you in early September reminding you about the International Student Document Check process. Errors on your I-94 could negatively impact any F1 benefits you may request, such as a U.S. driver's license, employment in the U.S., or even future travel and re-entry. After you have cleared customs, you should follow the signs to the International Arrivals and Baggage Claim to pick up your luggage. And once you've arrived in San Diego, you need to get to UCSD. The International Center is pleased to provide a transportation service for our incoming international students. Students that register for the Triton bus pickup will be greeted at the airport by staff or volunteers from various UCSD student organizations. The Triton bus will have 2 pickup times from the Los Angeles airport and will drop you off at the UC San Diego campus here in La Jolla. Be sure to reserve and submit your payment soon if you would like to use this service. The deadline to make your reservation is Monday, September 1st. So again, the Triton bus will pick students up on Sunday, September 21st. Okay, so let's take another poll. Would you be interested in a transportation service from the airport to UC San Diego like the Triton bus program? Okay, so it looks like about half of you would be interested in a transportation pickup service. A little bit more than half of you. Okay, so please remember again, the Triton bus is only running on Sunday, September 21st, and a reservation and fee are required. In addition to the Triton bus, there are a few other options to get to UCSD. You can have your friends or family bring you to campus, take a public bus, take a UCSD shuttle, or use other forms of ground transportation from the San Diego airport, for example, taxi cabs. The San Diego airport is about 15 miles from campus. If you're taking a shuttle or a cab, expect the drive to be about 30 to 40 minutes. If you fly into LAX and you will not be using the Triton bus program, you need to get from LA to San Diego. You can take the train, bus, or rent a car. Los Angeles is about a 2.5-hour drive by car away from San Diego. Please use the links listed above to find more information about these methods of transportation. Okay, so once you've made it to UCSD, we know that you will probably be very excited and tired by the time you get to campus. But there are a few very important things that you need to remember once you arrive. All new international students to UCSD must report to the International Center within 15 days of your program start date. This is a requirement of your F1 status so that we can register your SEVIS record. Failure to complete the document check may result in the termination of your SEVIS record and loss of your F1 status. Please be sure to review the document check process before you arrive at UCSD so that you can be prepared. To complete the document check after you arrive into the U.S., you will need to print your electronic I-94 form. You'll need to update your local and permanent address in Triton Link. And then finally, you will need to visit the International Center or attend the International Student Orientation for document review. By attending the International Student Orientation, you can fulfill your document check requirement. So also, you should have recently received an email from the International Students and Programs Office inviting you to the required International Student Orientation. The orientation program for international freshmen includes an online digital orientation, which will be available August 1st. You will receive an email with info to complete the digital orientation before the on-campus orientation. So again, the online digital orientation should be completed before the on-campus orientation. Then there is a 2-day Freshman International Student Orientation. This will be on Monday, September 22nd through Tuesday, September 23rd. Okay, so let's take another poll. Have you registered for the International Student Orientation? So go ahead and submit this or answer this question. Have you already registered for the International Student Orientation? And please remember, this orientation is different from your college orientation. Okay, good. It looks like about 85% of you have already registered for orientation. If you arrive at UCSD several days prior to orientation, you may visit the International Center to complete your document check and visit our Welcome Lounge. Orientation assistants will be available to answer questions, and you may have your documents checked. Also, don't confuse, as I mentioned before, don't confuse the International Student Orientation with your college orientation. Your college orientation is separate. You can find more information about your college orientation on your college's website. If your parents and family are traveling to San Diego with you, they are invited to the International Parent and Family Orientation. Their orientation is on September 22nd, which is the first day of your International Student Orientation. For more information about the Parent and Family Orientation, you can click on this link here. As new international freshmen, you can move into your on-campus housing as early as Sunday, September 21st, if you have an on-campus housing contract for the Fall 14 term and have registered and will attend the International Student Orientation on September 22nd. The early move-in date is 1 day before the International Center's mandatory orientation for freshmen. Because you're an international student, the housing office is making a special exception to let you check in early. The move-in date for all other non-international students is Saturday, September 27th. If you choose to move in early, please note that a small fee applies. For the nights from the 21st through the 26th, each night will cost about $31. Starting on September 27th, your regular housing contract will begin. As of now, the move-in times are only on Sunday, September 21st, between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. If you opt for the early move-in option, you must move in during this time. Don't worry, the room you move into early will be the same room that you have during the school year. Also, the dining halls will not be open during this time. However, there are many other dining options and restaurants on campus. You will receive move-in information from housing later this summer. At that time, you'll be able to select the early move-in option for international students. Any questions regarding housing should be directed to housing. If you'd like to do more research about housing options at UCSD, you can search the UCSD housing page. Also, make sure that you check out their frequently asked questions section so that you can find out what amenities UCSD on-campus housing provides in terms of furniture and bedding. Many international students wonder if they need to provide their own bed linens, and the answer is yes. You can find the measurements for the bed linens at this website link. You're welcome to bring your own, or of course there are many shops and stores close to campus where you can buy various items for your dorm room. You can also research off-campus housing options. The International Center has some housing resources through the link above. Here you can find short-term housing options such as homestay exchange programs. So if you are entering the U.S. earlier and would like to participate in a short homestay, please check out the information through the iCenter link. Health insurance within the UC system is mandatory. As a new student, you will automatically be enrolled in the student health insurance plan unless you are already covered by other insurance and wish to opt out. If this is the case, you must then apply for a health fee waiver. More information about the student health insurance plan can be found on the link above. If you have questions regarding your TB questionnaire, please direct them to UCSD Student Health website. Note that the TB screening is mandatory for all incoming students. The hepatitis B application is only required for newly admitted students who are 18 years and younger. Once you arrive and get moved in, it's time to settle down and start living the San Diego life. To make your transition smoother, we're going to give you more information about setting up your email, paying your tuition, and making sure to stay in good academic standing. So UCSD email, you should have already set up your email account. It's a very important email address that many different people across campus will use to communicate with you. So once you've arrived on campus and even before, make sure that you are checking your UCSD email account. If you would like information about paying your tuition, you can find everything on Triton Link. Go to students.ucsd.edu and click on Finance Tools. You can then browse to find the topic that you're looking for and contact information to the cashier's office. The registration fee deadline is September 26th, so plan accordingly to pay any required fees prior to this date. Remember, the UCSD cashier's office does not accept credit cards, but they do accept cash, personal and international checks, and money orders, in addition to other forms of payment. Check the billing and payments information above for more options for payments. Likewise, you can find information about academics, including an academic calendar and enrollment, by accessing Triton Link. Go to students.ucsd.edu and click on Academics. You can then browse to find the topic that you're looking for and contact information for the registrar's office with any questions that you may have. We've listed some key dates here for you to keep in mind. So please remember, new student enrollment begins between August 25th and September 1st. Registration fees, again, are due no later than September 26th. And the first day of instruction is on October 2nd. The University of California requires all undergraduate students, including international students, to demonstrate a minimum proficiency in English composition. This is called the Entry-Level Writing Requirement, or ELWR. To meet this requirement, an analytical writing placement exam will be given to you in September. Depending on how you do on this exam, you will be placed in either basic writing or English as a second language or in college writing. Click on this link here for more information on the writing requirement. And of course, school is not just about studying. You want to have fun too. So be sure to check out all of the social clubs and organizations on campus. One of the clubs at the International Students and Programs Office is the International Club, which is very popular with international students and a great way to get out and meet new friends. Here are some additional programs on our website. You can check them out on our website. And if you already want to start getting connected, you can search for us on Facebook. You can search UC San Diego International Students and Programs Office to find our group. I know many of you in China may not be able to access Facebook yet, but once you have arrived in the U.S., please feel free to add us. Because living in a foreign country is different from visiting as a tourist, you'll have to do a few extra things when you arrive. You'll likely have to set up a bank account, arrange for cell phone service, and figure out a new transportation system. Fortunately, the internet has made it possible to do most of these things from the comfort of your home. Speak to other international students to get tips on these services. You can also reference the International Students and Programs Office website for general advice about local services in San Diego. You should arrive in the U.S. with enough dollars to get you by for the first day. It's also a good idea to have a phone card with you too. This way, even if you have problems with your email or cell phone when you first arrive, you'll still be able to contact people. Okay, so we've covered a lot of information today, and the webinar will be coming to an end soon. So let's start thinking about the last details of your departure preparation. And in conclusion, we've outlined some common questions that incoming students usually ask. So what should or shouldn't you pack? We recognize that each student will pack differently in preparation for their time as a student here. However, here's just a short list of the most important things to bring or not to bring based on past international students' questions. If you have any questions about what you should and shouldn't pack, please be sure to ask at the end of this webinar. So as you know, San Diego is pretty casual. We're right on the beach. Do pack casual clothes. UCSD, you're all students, so jeans and t-shirts, that's the normal wear. Don't pack electrical items that you can purchase inexpensively here, such as hair dryers. If you need to, make sure that you bring an adapter. Make sure that you pack health records or a list of allergies or prescriptions. Don't bring any irreplaceable valuables. And then here are more general questions that you can consider before you travel. Feel free to browse through these questions, and if you need help with answering any of these, you can contact us. Okay, so there are several important things that you must do before you come to UCSD. If you do not complete these requirements, you will encounter difficulties registering for classes this fall. So make sure that you complete the International Student Digital Orientation, which will be available to you from August 1st. You will need to register for the 2-day International Student Orientation if you haven't already. Complete the We Are Tritons requirement. Make sure to do the tuberculosis screening and the Hep B screening if you are required. Attend the International Student Orientation on September 22nd and 23rd, and attend your college orientation. And most of you should have received this checklist via email a couple weeks ago. Make sure that you review this. Check your emails from about 2 weeks ago. And make sure that you print it out and complete all these items. To help prompt you to remember any final inquiries that you might have, think about the following questions. What other advice can we provide? Do you have all of your paperwork in order? Do you feel prepared for your trip? And do you have our contact information? If you don't have our contact information, here it is. Write it down just in case you need it. If you think of any other questions at a later time, you can email or call us. Remember that we will email you this presentation for your reference. So don't worry if you haven't written everything down. I know this is a lot of information. Also, at the completion of this webinar, there will be a short survey. Please fill out the survey. We will use your feedback when planning future webinars. Okay, so thank you very much for your time today, and we look forward to meeting you in the fall. We hope that you have a wonderful rest of your summer, and we will stay online for about 10 to 15 minutes to answer any questions, any additional questions that you might have. So thank you again. This is the end of the webinar portion. However, again, we will stay online for about 10 to 15 minutes to answer questions.